Hi, today we have the honor and privilege of chatting with Cheskin, Dr. Larry Cheskin, founder of Johns Hopkins Weight Management Institute. He has been involved in over 200 publications. Dr. Cheskin, you've been working for over 30 years studying obesity, weight management. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
I'm sorry to say I'm that old.
We're so glad you are. We're so glad you have so much knowledge and wisdom to impart to us. We want to talk a little bit about some studies or some maybe data that you could share regarding eating for your blood sugars and what that's like. I personally, and I've had an opportunity to come to Johns Hopkins and see you live, and we've talked about eating small, frequent meals and the benefits of that. Can you share just a little bit about your experience or studies or anything you'd like to talk about with regard to eating for your blood sugars?
Sure. And it's eating for your blood sugars as well as eating for weight loss, if that's what your goal is. And some of this is a bit technical, but bear with me for a moment. Our metabolic rate that we often talk about has various components to it. And one of them, a major one, is your resting metabolic rate. So when I'm sitting here on a couch, not doing a whole lot of physical activity, that's close to my resting metabolic rate. And that is most of the calories that I, for one, probably burn in a day because I'm not an Olympic athlete. The second component that can be very large or very small is purposeful physical activity. And if you do a lot of exercise, that can be as big or bigger than your resting metabolic rate. But for most people, it's a much smaller amount. A third component that we almost never talk about is called the thermic effect of food. And that is something in the range of 10% of our total calories burned in a day. And that's the calories that are burned as we eat, digest, absorb, process, and store our food in our bodies. And some of those calories that are burned to process food have to be done more than once if you're eating more than once. So if you eat 8 times a day, even though it'll be a little bit fewer calories that are burned in digesting each of those 8 times than if you had one big meal, it'll add up to more because your stomach needs to grind some more, your GI tract needs to process things and push it through. Bottom line is this thermic effect of feeding gets maximized, gets increased when you eat more frequently. Now, the downside to eating more frequently, though, is you have to be careful, because if you eat 8 meals a day that are each 300 calories versus 1 meal a day that's 2,000 calories, well, you just ate more calories. You're not going to lose weight by doing that, even though each meal is only 300 calories. 8 of them is 2,400 calories, and 1 was only 2,000 calories. And the difference in thermic effect of feeding may be another couple of hundred calories, but you're still in trouble. You're not making progress. Those are extreme examples, of course. Most people you're talking about are you're eating twice a day versus eating 5 or 6 times a day. And as long as the portions are small enough that it doesn't add up to as much as you were eating in the first place with fewer meals, then you will actually save calories, basically, and help the weight loss process by eating more frequently. If you have diabetes or hypoglycemic episodes frequently, then that's another benefit to eating more frequently, that you are less likely to suffer from hypoglycemia, and you'll keep your blood sugar steadier over the course of the day.
Brilliant. So I loved it. And in the last section, basically what I heard you say is low glycemic, portion controlled, frequent meals, as opposed to one big one, keeps your metabolism working. So it actually is more efficient for your body because it's burning, and watching those number of calories that you have throughout the day is important, because if you're having small frequent meals and they're not low calorie or low glycemic or healthy, I mean, obviously you're putting a lot of energy into your body that you're not going to be able to remove. So then you're going to have the opposite effect that you desire.
Yes. The only refinement I'd like to make, Whitney, in what you just said is that In fact, you want your body to be less efficient. So it's more efficient for losing weight. That's correct. But you're being less efficient when you eat lots of meals a day because you're wasting calories. You're taking more energy. It's like if you're a fidgeter instead of somebody who sits stock still and hardly moves, you're being less efficient in your use of energy, but you're going to lose weight better because you're burning more calories. And if we were in, prehistoric times where there wasn't enough food to eat and starvation was the problem, not becoming obese, then you don't want to be a fidgeter. You don't want to waste your calories because that's going to cause you to not hold on to your weight when food is short. In our current environment where it's obesogenic and everywhere you turn, you're getting more food than you need and you don't need to lift a finger to be physically active, then you want to be gas guzzler, burning calories and wasting calories.
And Dr. Cheskin, when somebody is low glycemic, hypoglycemic, there's some really uncomfortable short-term and even long-term consequences. What are the benefits of being balanced with your blood sugars? What are the enhancements to your moods, to your health when you are keeping those small frequent meals balanced and the blood sugars balanced?
Well, it certainly appears that people who don't have episodes of hypoglycemia feel better. When you're hypoglycemic, as those of you who've experienced that, it's an uncomfortable feeling. And people with type 2 diabetes or juvenile onset type 1 diabetes are very prone, in particular the type 1 diabetes patients, to getting hypoglycemic. It's not good for you. It can be downright dangerous. You can faint or become comatose from severe hypoglycemia. And it's just easier for your body to deal with food if it's apportioned slowly through the day instead of in big portions.
So in recap, number one is we have seen that small frequent meals can be very beneficial for stimulating that thermogenic effect, for burning more calories. So that's a healthy weight management, fat burning strategy. It's also good for your blood sugars, your hormones, potentially your moods, your health. And it also seems to be that it becomes a habit for people. For me, I've been doing 6 meals, 7 meals a day for 15 years. And it really seems like it's been a kind of a pattern that really fits well for me. People who do this long-term have healthy outcomes long-term?
There's not a lot of good studies on that yet, but all the evidence from short-term work is that it would be beneficial.
Well, it's working for me 16 and a half years later. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Cheskin, thank you as always for chatting with us. Chatting with Cheskin is a feature that we do every couple of weeks. We have new topics. Today's topic, as you know, is blood sugar and small meals. If you want to learn more about some of the studies, there's lots of research that backs up this. If you want to reach out, get some more information or find out more about it, please get to the person who sent you this video. And again, thanks, Dr. Cheskin, for your time today. And we'll see you again with Chatting with Cheskin.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Thank you.